I'm selling my Bitcoin, y'all. I know. We're in the Matrix. If I was a Hollywood writer, I couldn't write it any better. And I know that this isn't going to be a popular thing to say, but I told you guys I would tell you when I was selling, and here is exactly what I thought when we were still at 37,000. I will be taking action. Here's what I'm going to be doing. I will be taking action if we get above $42,000 to the upside. I will take a little bit of profit in hopes that we're going to get a buyback. There you go. If we got to $42,000, I will be taking action. We are at $42,000. I called the bottom on the day 6 months in advance with video evidence when everybody, all the crypto bros told you it was going lower, and every single local bottom along the way, as well as the breakout months in advance. In fact, back here, I have video evidence that I said I would shave my head. I would shave my head when we were at $25,000 if we did not get above $38,000 by the time December hit. And here we are at $42,000. The maximum end of the move for me for this move is $48,000. Now, I'm selling 15% of my Bitcoin. Not what you should do, but what I am doing, because my average price of my Bitcoin is about $17,000. And let me show you what my profits are on Bitcoin. 150% to the upside. That is my average price on Bitcoin because I was heavy accumulating here when all the wives' boyfriends were telling you that it was going to 12K. I told you that the bottom was in, and I told you right here when Silicon Valley collapsed, I told you that that was a local bottom, video evidence. I told you that this was a local bottom, video evidence. I told you that this was a local bottom, and I even gave you why it was a local bottom with the crashing structure. And I even posted it on my Twitter that this is what a local bottom feels like. Here it is. Recognize this feeling next time, because that is what a local bottom feels like. That was on 9/12/2023. Let's look at 9/11. There it is. That is the local bottom. And I even posted a picture. Don't be surprised if by the time we get out, because I was going camping, don't be surprised if we break out by the time I come back. And we broke out. This is the move. I said all along that we will be retracing in 2023. This is the retracement. This is it. And there seems to be some confusion on what a retracement is. So let me show you what a retracement is. Some people say it's the pullback. That's not correct. A retracement goes like this. You have the top of the mountain, right? You have a mountain here. You're at the top of the mountain and you go all the way to the bottom of the mountain. You hit the bottom and then you bounce up. The bouncy ball bounces up 50 to 70%. This move right here is the retracement. Okay, this happens in stocks, it happens in crypto, it happens in real estate, it happens in any X asset. It does not matter. That is the move. And here it is. So let's turn it off so you can see. The top of the mountain goes to the bottom and bounces 50 to 70%. Right now, we're in between 50 and the 618. So in the Fibonacci's, they call this, the 618 would be about 45,000, and the 702 would bring us as high as 48,000. Now, I have taken 15% off of the table. I have sold 15% of my Bitcoin. That doesn't mean that that's what you should do, but that is what I have done because I have already accumulated a ton of Bitcoin for this whole year. Okay? Now, the maximum of the retracement for me is $48,000 on a body. If we get to 48,000, I will sell an additional 15%. Okay? So I will sell 30% of my Bitcoin. And I know, just like down here, FTX, Binance is next, UT is going to collapse, that's next, Silicon Valley, all the banks are going to collapse, the wars, what about Binance? What about Binance? I know. And now they're going to be saying, what about the Bitcoin ETFs? And all of last year, I was against all the bears, and it wasn't popular for me to say that the bottom was in. Now, I assume it's not going to be popular for me to say that the retracement is running out of steam. And I also even told you what the RSI that I was going to be looking at. Once we got above 80 on the weekly, we are currently at 82 on the weekly. That is, and we're almost at 83 actually. And I said 80, the real number is 86, but we are at 83. So we have perhaps a little bit more room to go. So perhaps we could get into the 48K, and I hope we do, because I'll sell some more. Ultimately, what I thought that we're going to be doing is right here. And let me lay it out for you very clearly. Have our crashing all the way down. The ball bounces to the bottom of the mountain, hits the bottom, and bounces up 50 to 70%. Once we get here, we have a back test. This is the 2013 bull run, followed by the 2016 retracement, followed by the back test. The retracement is the move from the bottom to your 50% up. And then you have a back test of the prior trading range. That is the move that is next. At a minimum, I think we are going to crash from where we are at now to $35,000. The most violent case scenario would be if we get as high as on a wick into the $52,000. That's possible, but the body close is realistically going to be $48,000. But let's say we wick up into $52,000. This is the most extreme scenario. And then we're going to come all the way back down on a wick to $30,000. That is a 40% correction. That is the most violent. I think the most likely is going to be about 45,000 back down to 35,000, and that would be about a 23% move. So we're looking about a 22% correction, as low as a 40% correction right around Christmas time, maybe a little bit after. It could, I don't know what the news is going to be. There'll be something. It could be buy the rumor, sell the news. Perhaps the ETF gets approved. To me, the news is irrelevant. The news has been proven to be irrelevant every single step of the way. There's always a scary narrative at the bottom. And by the way, there's always a bullish narrative. Coinbase IPO'd, Vitalik sold at the top. Every single top narrative, there's always a bullish one, and people think it's going to go higher. And at the bottom, it's always scary, and people think it's going to go lower. All of last year, I was the unpopular guy. That's not how you do TA. Well, apparently it is, because I called the bottom on the day and every single local bottom and the breakout on the day with video evidence documented. So now I think it's popular to poo-poo on the bears. And so now I'm becoming more and more bearish. Also, I'm seeing more and more crypto channels pop up. And the more the merrier. I encourage any creator to create. However, I haven't seen any of these people make any videos, and now I'm seeing them everywhere. Also, there's like real estate channels, stock channels, and now all of a sudden they were in crypto the whole time. Who knew? To me, this has a retracement written all over it. This is exactly what it feels like back in this prior bull run. So here's the bull run, top of the mountain. You have your go to the bottom of the mountain. The ball bounces to the bottom, and then you go 50 to 70%. In Bitcoin's case, it likes to go to the 618. It was the same thing. In this moment, everyone thought that the bull market was starting. We had so many weekly candles in a row. Everyone thought that the bull market was starting. You have a big pullback. Okay. Now, the more structural thing of what I actually think that we're doing is more like this one right here. In 2013, we still, top of the mountain, bounce to the bottom of the mountain, and then you go up here to the 618, 61%, 61.8%, the top of the mountain. This is basically where we're at right now. You still have a very drastic pullback. Okay, we still hung out here for 200 days. That is what I think that we're going to do. That's what I thought we were going to do all along but from the wick, we pull back 40%. That is going to be drastic, ladies and gentlemen. That's not going to feel good. Okay? What I think is next right now is a 20 to 40% pullback. Potentially we could get to $50,000 on a wick, 52 even, but 48 is the maximum of the body. I'm taking 15% here, and I'm going to take another 15%. If we get to 48K, technically 42K could be it though. Okay. I want to put that out there. Technically, 42K could be it. That's why I took 15%. If I thought 48K was where we're for sure going to go, I would have waited until 48K, but I took 15% here because that's what I called out months and months and months in advance. This is what I think is next, okay? 20 to 40% pullback. On the low end, that's going to bring us to 35. We could wick all the way down to 30, and that would be about a 40% correction. Realistically, though, the bigger time frame move, if we zoom out, we are going to be hanging out after this pullback. We're going to be hanging out between 35K and 40K, 39K for the better part of 6 months. And then we're going to get into the 50s, have another pullback. 6 months, we're going to keep marching along until it gets really deal rocking and rolling. Now, half of what I'm taking right now, I'm going to have in USDC and USDC for buying more Bitcoin. The other half, I will be looking to accumulate some pre-Link style moves. Okay, what do I mean by that? Link had, and my bread and butter is Wyckoff accumulation. This is what I teach on my Patreon. This is Wyckoff accumulation. It is the same. You have your sign of strength move. That's your big move up, which is what Bitcoin is doing right now. I'm looking for the coins that have this structure right here that have not had the big move. I'm keeping my, here's one. I'll give you guys one that I'm looking at. Not that you should buy it. Rose has the same structure, pre-big move to the upside. So half of my profit will be in Bitcoin, USDC, looking to buy more Bitcoin at the pullback, and half is going to be on these coins that have not had these big moves yet and some low market caps. Not what you should be doing. If you want to learn how to do all of this, you can learn so on my Patreon. And if you want to learn all of the coins that I'm going to be buying with my profits, you can do so on my Patreon. That is going to be it for this time. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Peace, love, prosperity. God first. God bless. I'm out.
Damn hustling, 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 hustling.